So the next thing, which is kind of the last little piece of the puzzle, is the Spur band. And the Spur band is, again, just the piece that goes onto your boot heel. And they come in kind of 3 different sizes. But the sizes can be really deceiving just on the way they're labeled. They come in children's size, ladies' sizes, and men's sizes. But ultimately, it depends on what type of boot you're wearing, not your gender or your age. So these ones are what's considered a ladies' Spur, whereas these ones are considered a men's Spur. And you can see that the band is quite a bit larger, if I can get the Spur strap out of the way here. It's quite a bit larger in comparison. But again, it depends on the type of boot you're wearing. So here I have 2 different pairs of boots that I have, and one of them has a much narrower heel than the other. So you can see, if I just pop the strap off here, that my kind of lady size fit really nicely on my narrower heel boot. However, if I go to put them on my wider heel boot, I really have to kind of wiggle them into place, and then they do not want to go anywhere, and I really have to give them a tug to pull them off. So ultimately, the size of your band is going to depend on the type of boot you wear when you're riding. So don't necessarily go by the tag and buy them just because they say children's size or men's size, if you happen to be, you know, a child or a man, or a lady. That's why I recommend that if you're going to buy Spurs, especially if you don't know what you're looking for in a Spur, or you don't know what size you require for your boot, it's best to wear the boots to the tack store when you're going to buy your Spurs, and that way you can be guaranteed to find a band that fits. Ultimately, you can kind of pull or push in the tips of the band ever so slightly with your hands. I don't recommend putting them in a vise or hammering them open or closed, because then you can actually damage the integrity of the band and you could actually damage the Spur. But you can tip them in and out if you just need that little bit of extra space, or a little bit of extra, or if you need to make them a little more narrow. So with Spur straps, you get a lot of choice. There's lots of different kinds of Spur straps out there. You can get them in a straight, plain strap, just like this one. It's just a piece of leather cut to just a thin size for a Spur strap. Or you can get ones like this one that widen when you get to the top of your boot. And then you can get ones that have tooling on them, like this one has some floral tooling with a big fancy buckle. This one has a slightly smaller but still fancy buckle, and you have some basket weave tooling. This one is just a straight brown band, but you have some barbed wire tooling. Some come with suede or cow hair inlay on the wider part of the strap. Some come with bling, rhinestones, conchos, some really nice tooling. Some even come, like this one, actually just has Chicago screws where it holds the buckle on. So you can interchange the buckle, and you can put as big of a buckle on there as you want. And you can get ones that are really, really wide. So that's where you get to have a little bit of fun choosing a pair of Spurs, is mostly when you're talking about the Spur strap. And there are also a couple types of straps called tie-down straps, which are, you can get them in a couple different kinds. Some are just the heel strap, like this one. So it just comes, like ignoring this top piece, it just comes straight across. These ones are a full Spur tie-down. So I have a pair on a couple of the Spurs that I have. And let me take a pair of Spur straps off here to show you how they go on. So to apply Spur straps, when you first buy them, Spur straps are very stiff. I'll talk about that real quick while I'm taking these off. So the best thing to do is to oil them up a bit, let them sit, and then just sit there and play with them. Get them nice and soft and pliable. And then they have a split in them, so you open that split, you stick the Spur button into that slit, and basically what you have to do is just rotate and they just pop right on. However, if you're trying to mess around with a cheaper quality leather strap, or you haven't oiled them, you're going to be sitting there all day trying to get them on and off. So it's best you just oil them up really nice. So to get your Spur tie-down straps on, which basically just help, and I'll show you when I put them on my boot. This top part here goes over top of the rowel, or in this case I'm just popping it over the ball of the Spur, and it goes right butt up against the bottom of your shank where it attaches to the band. Then each of these little spots come over and attach onto the button of each Spur, and you want to keep this big opening at the bottom of your Spur. So I'm just going to pop this one over there, and you can put them on underneath your regular Spur straps or over top. It really doesn't matter. And then you just want to put your Spur straps back on, because I like having them underneath my Spur straps. If I can even get... This particular brand of tie-down strap are a little thicker than some ones I used to have. So your Spur straps need a bit of coaxing to get them back on afterwards. There, like that. And then I'm not going to bother putting the other one on, but then that's how you get your tie-down strap. And so I have a pair on this pair of Spurs already. And taking them off is the same thing. You just get your Spur strap off, stretch the rubber over top of each button, and pop it off your shank. So, I'm just going to grab my boot here, and I'm going to show you the difference between not having a tie-down strap and having one. For the majority of people, it doesn't really matter, but if you're doing a lot of fast moving, like barrel racing, cutting, or roping, you want, and especially if your Spur is a little too large for your boot, tie-down straps work great. So this pair of Spurs fits my boot pretty well, but if I'm doing really fast work or I'm really spurring my horse, it's going to move. And sometimes they can actually work their way so that they're like this. So your shank is way above the point where it should be, and you're going to have trouble cueing your horse properly than if it's going to be straight out the back of your boot. So the use of these Spur tie-down straps is so you just slide it onto your boot. You do up your normal Spur strap, like so. Make sure that's done up. And then all you do is you take the piece of rubber with that big opening and you just stretch it. It's much easier to do when the boot is on your foot. You just stretch it over the boot's heel like that. So it actually holds that Spur shank right exactly in the place that it's supposed to be. So it really takes a lot of effort to stretch that rubber tie-down strap enough that I could pull the Spur shank up. So it keeps the Spur like attached to the correct spot on your boot so it can't bounce around. So these actually work really well if your Spur is just a smidge too big for your boot, or if you need your Spur to remain in its permanent spot. If you happen to be doing cutting, roping, or cow work when you're having to move really fast, a lot of times if the horse moves really fast and your Spur's in them, they can actually kind of roll the Spur off or up on your boot. So it's best that you kind of stabilize that by using a tie-down strap. And they're really cheap. They're sold in pairs. I think this one was from, I think this is a Tough One tie-down strap, and it was like $4 for the pair. They come in brown. Other companies, I think Western Rawhide makes a black one, which I have on these Spurs. They're a little thinner leather, but they're not quite as stretchy as these ones. These ones are a little bit thicker. That's my only pet peeve with these ones, is that they're a little bit thicker, so you really have to convince your Spur straps to go on over top of the tie-down strap. So that's all I have for you guys today. It's a lot of information to take all in at once, so feel free to watch the video multiple times if you have to. Leave me a comment below if you would like to see more videos like this with other types of equipment, or you can always send me a message through Dreamscape Horsemanship's Facebook page. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and part 2 will be along shortly. So I will catch you guys later, and thanks for watching.